Masachet Hullin Daf Amud Aleph, first line. Man Tana. Whose opinion was it? Avar ben Aha, Shar Allah, father, if a ben Pekuah went through a river and it became wet, it's considered prepared for Tuma, and therefore if it went afterward to a graveyard, it's Tameh, even if it's alive. Rabbi Yochanan, Rabbi Yosef Glili, Tkoin Rosalie, then Rabbi Shmuel Zar, Rabbi Shmuel Glili. Mitamet Tumat Achlim, it could get the Tuma of food, even if it's still alive. بصريخ هيك شيء needs to be prepared. فاهمين عم يصير إنه تمام فالحين does not become تمام food. لكن شو خايف because it's alive فخوش شو خايف تمام automatically anything that's alive is not eligible for تمام. فعزل بيخلن تمام بيخلن جزء كمان جزء نيزن ثاني دمار بيخلن بيخلن سر. بيأس هقولي مش معي أمرهم دمار خالد بس هقولي مش معي both hold the same thing that something is alive that can be eaten without shechita is considered food. Yes, I agree. هذا تماما I guess we just said. فتش my benchmark says that تمام مش says. تأخير متى مقابلين تمام. When does fish become eligible for تمام? benchmark مش يرسلوا. benchmark says when they're caught. but أمرين مش يموتوا when after that. ربيع كيفا أمر مش عشان يخون حيوت. ربيع كيفا says only from the time they're unable to live. Seemingly same thing as benchmark. but sorry, but ربيع كيفا. I don't know what's the difference. I'm ربيع خان dog should make cartea. The difference is whether or not it's still thrashing, but it's gonna die. Betty Mouse says since it's gonna die, it's okay, and Betty Mouse says it's not alive, it's not good. We see from here regardless that Betty Mouse says once they're caught, it's considered eligible for Tama even though it's alive, But anyway, says that no double dagim tmane terefa. If signs of terefa are in a fish, I mean it has a hole in the body, ma what's that? Is that eligible for Tama or not? According to Akiva. تبادل ما عندما terefa حياة وتبادل ما عندما terefa حياة. This is a question to whether or not you hold that terefa animal can live or not. Tibada mandama terefa haya makes it. It's a question against the opinion who says that terefa can survive. بما هو دين في حيوتها. Since an animal can survive with the terefa, because it's very viable, it's very stable. But fish are very at danger of dying, not as easily to live. Therefore, they are not capable, and therefore it's eligible for tuma. Considered food. Although maybe I feel عندما تلفاء أحياء even كنت من هذه التلفاء that cannot live حاني من هذه يشمي شهيدات because that makes sense that تلفاء applies the whole تلفاء applies to the animal that it because it's supposed to be shot it's usually its kind gets to the شهيدات but the غير من شهيدات but a fish which is not subject to the شهيدات I mean it won't be applying and therefore when a fish gets تلفاء even if it's not going to live doesn't make a difference. It's still not control. It's not still not ready for tomorrow till it dies. The Gemara says we're not sure. Take it. If an animal had a miscarriage, Yochanan says حلبه كحلب بهما. The chilif of the fetus is like a behemah chilif, and that's why it is asur. Right. So chilif is a forbidden fat in a behemah, but it's mutar in a hayah. ربي شمال كشمر حلبه كحلف حياة. The chilif of the fetus is the chilif of a hayah, which is mutar. Rahman Habab Kalam, I mean, Rahman says that the Halib is like Behema Halib Avira Garim because he holds that the air caused it to be a Behema, even if it was not fully correct term. Bishon of the Kishamar Habab Kahab Hayas considered Haya had Hodashim Gami the months in the womb caused it to be considered a Behema when it comes out. Economic different version is Mahakit, Koe Halib Lokalo Hashab, as long as the months were not finished in the womb. Lo Kumhus, everybody agrees that it's not considered a behemoth, and therefore it's not asur. Keep looking was a machlokes. Echad da'ashija do may behema when someone stuck his hand into the womb. Betalash cheleb b'shaban tisha v'chavachani. He took off a cheleb of a live 9-month-old fetus inside, then he ate it. Yochanan marhabu kehadna. Yochanan says it's considered a behema cheleb. Hadashim gam because it was months, even if it didn't come out. Rishim l'shir marhabu kehadna. It's considered hadashim ba'avir gami. You need the full months and the air. Yeah, you need it to come out. أتى ربيع حنان ربيع شمال نكيش has a question ما حلب وشتاك كده تمرت وشام وتصاب مكتل شليل just like the chelib and the two kidneys that I mentioned by the Korban Hashem are excluded from a fetus right so this is talking about the chelib and the two kidneys are parts that are brought onto the Mizbeach so the Braita is saying whether or not if they're bringing a fetus is chelib and kidneys. So he says, no. So every korban where the halal and kidneys are mentioned, the fetus is not included. Which doesn't really make sense according to me, because he holds that eating the halal is like a behemah. That's why it's excluded. I know it's and that's why I know it's calamity. That's why I need to be excluded from the pasuk because you might think otherwise considered a full-fledged behemah. And then the tchub according to you that says it's not considered behemah. I need a pasuk to exclude it all. The Gemara says, it's true. The very fact that it's excluded over here is the reason why I hold that it's not considered behemah. Right? So you're looking at it backwards. If we get a different version, if the reaction of the Rabbi Yohanan asks question, just like the halib and the two kidneys that I mentioned in regarding the korban hashem are excluded from the fetus. Half kol and some anything else is considered excluded from the fetus. Bishon makes sense. That's why the Torah excluded to have according to you. The Kareb, how come you don't bring this back? Malay answered him, Midi to have him because it's like an animal that was brought before it's the right age. Similar case, that's why we look at it for a fetus. Amar Rabbi Amin. Ash'ayv the telefon matzah ba ben tish'ah. Someone slaughters telefon, which is a to eat, and then you find a live 9-month-old fetus inside. The Divrei said, according to the opinion that says that a full-term fetus inside the womb of a healthy animal, yani ben pekuah, cannot be eaten without shehita matir. He says this telefa is mutar. Baby in the telefa is mutar because it has its own shehita, has its own system. The Divrei matir, but according to this, you're able to eat this animal in a healthy animal because it's through the mother's shehita. Oh, sorry, it's also because this fetus is considered part of the mother. Even according to the opinion, it allows the regular animal, healthy fetus inside the healthy mother without shehita. He still allows it to eat it. Why? Because Torah says it. Cut 4 pipes. You're not very to do that. Someone starts to find when he finds a alive, 9-month-old fetus inside. You need to shehita on it. You have to give the kohanic gifts of the leg, the jaws, and the stomach. They meant, and if it died without being slaughtered, tahor mitamim masa. It's tahor with there's no tumah name that. The Gemara says, about 1 second. Tahon shehita mikaman. Who do you hold? Whose opinion holds you need to do shehita? Kremer. He goes to Kremer because it's not done through the mother. They meant tahor mitamim but then at the same time, if there's no tumah if it dies, it's according to Hamim who said that it's already considered shahid for the mother. So how is it according to both? The Gemara says, according to what you just said, how did Rabbi Hiya? I heard that's what according to what Rabbi Hiya said. Hashahid the telefon masabah ben tisha hay. Someone throws the telephone, he finds a live 9-month-old fetus inside. Ta'un shahita need shahita. You still need also the leg, the jaws, and the stomach. Also no tumah. تعاون شهيتا كمان هو يني شهيتا فكر بمير بمير تعاون دما صار كمان. This according to the way you clear also is مخلوق استيرات مش هذا كشخص عن استيرات بيحيى إن كبر متى أو مت كمر. We asked in case if you found it dead, that's why it has tuma. Rameir would agree in that case. Ela ditach kashi, but according to you, it's still a question because you say that even if it's found inside the womb. So you didn't give that case that you found it inside the womb. So how do you explain it? Where it says it is not location also necessary for me. I asked Marim Achshar about the Rahman. What I said it's 4 pipes of slaughter, and that's why over here as well. Since you're able to slaughter all 4 pipes, not only there's 2 separate animals, it's not considered. It is considered separate. He's talking about this. He said, "Yeah, sure." He said, "Well said." Also the same thing. Does that mean Rabbi Kish argues against him? Because he said only Rabbi Yochanan? The one says Rabbi Shakish used to wait for Rabbi Yochanan to finish his shiur and review it. And even if Rabbi Shakish had a problem, he wouldn't say anything. So when he taught it, he left before and he didn't know if Rabbi Shakish argued. He learned the virgin Mishtah Shatikle. Rabbi Shakish was drinking, that's why he didn't answer him because he was drinking wine and he's not allowed to talk Torah or give halacha. Okay. Rabbi Shimon Zuri says, even if the fetus that was found alive is 5 years old, it's already considered shechet through the mother. You don't need shechita. Same thing with Tanakamas. Why is Shimon Zuri? He was saying anything different. The difference is whether or not the ben pugua placed his hose in the ground. According to Tanakamas, mutar only is that it's killed before you take out of the womb. Shimon Zuri holds you don't need shechita if it even if it came out. According to the opinion that says that we're worried about the father's seed, which means later on we'll see whether or not if every animal is considered like the child of its father and not only the mother. Right? So we know Yuhasin lineage comes from the father and mother, different halakha for Jews. Well, the animals is slightly different. So the question is whether or not you're worried about the father, depending on what the father is, can make a big difference. Ben Pikua, how about if Ben Pikua is breeds with a normal animal and has a child, Havlat and Takana. There's no way to fix it, meaning you can never eat it. Because it might be patur from Shahita from the father. And therefore it's already considered slaughtered. But from the mother, it might need Shahita. And therefore it's considered like one pipe is already slaughtered. Then you need two pipes. Marbayet. Accommoding bekalut ben pekua. I already agreed regarding to an animal with joint hooves at ben pekua. Shemutar to be able to eat that shechita. Item away. Kumota the mitmiha mit kartechila inchi. Anything crazy that happens remembered by people. And therefore, when this thing is born, everybody knows about it, and everybody will remember it. And therefore, they'll say that's why it's mutar for the mother shechita. But otherwise, you can't eat a ben pekua without shechita because we're worried about people making mistakes. Okay. If نعمل inversion على الرباعي مع قوم دي المفروض شو الكتاب من بكوا everybody agrees that a ben pekua joined hooves the animal في متاع مثلا باي ترى تمي ميد كادر إن شيء because there's two extraordinary things going on the joined hooves and ben pekua مع زهيري مع محننا هذا خاك يربي شمون بن هذا خاز according to him إحنا يربي شمون تزري ما تير بنوب بنو عاد صف كذا يربي شمون تزري even though the ben pekua has children and grandchildren and so on to be even that shechita إحنا مار هو mutar it's mutar that shechita بنو عصوب that child is so that shechita عدا برحبوا هذا بن بكو عدا نفاضوا بقى هذا برحبا هري بن بكو عدا was attacked and injured by a wolf هذا كان راشي أنا لا يزيش حتى يقول دست شهيدا أما لا يستم ها أمر بزيري أمر بيحنا على حاج من جدري بيخين هيرش من وزيرة بنوب في مزرعة الزرعوت أفيد وربيش من كمان بنوب أبا إيه لا he's من سكر you don't need shechita and even according to argument whether or not the children need shechita everybody agrees the action does not the happening one is literate my says back to Rabbi Yochanan the Shimon Shizuri Kamar, he was talking according to the opinion, meaning that even according to Shimon Shizuri, that only the Ben Bukua itself, not his children, that Shechita. Amar Ravin Bar Hanina, Amar Ula Marachanina, Alakha Shimon Shizuri, Alakha, according to him, law down with that. Kuma Kom Shishna, Rabbi Shimon Shizuri, Mateno, Alakha Kamato. Anywhere where Rabbi Shimon Shizuri told Alakha and Mishnah, Alakha like him, meaning we are Halachas like him anytime he speaks in the Mishnah. Right, we say back to him, Ana ki hasbirli, I hold the following opinion. I'm reading on time. Halacha Rabbi Shimon Shizuri misukan. Halacha is according to Rabbi Shimon Shizuri by a person who's dying. Ubetrumat maaser shadamai, and also trumat maaser of the mai, but not other else, not ben bekua. And therefore, in the case of ben bekua, he holds like Ben Tanakama that it's only that once it comes out, you need shechita. Misukan, what's the case of the dying man? They used to say, if someone's going out and chains to be executed, he says, go write a gift for my wife. You should give it and write it. Write it and give it. They said, even someone going out traveling overseas, dangerous, he would say it. Even a dying man also has that halakha that you could listen and just write the gift for him. What's the case of Trumat Maaser Shadmai? That is, the Tanakh Mishnah says, Trumat Maaser Shadmai Shahazral Mukama. If Dmai is a case where you have like a Amaretz, you're not sure if they took off the Maaser or Trumat Maaser. Trumat Maaser is what the gift that Levi must give from Bnei Israel to the Kohanim. So let's say you have this, it got mixed from the fruits where it came from. Rabbi Shimon he says, Af behol shu'alo. Even on a weekday, you can ask him whether or not he separated it. But you can believe him if he said he separated it, you got to eat it. You don't have to worry about asking him on a weekday because um eh, even on a weekday because there's a special heter on Shabbat to listen to him, but is leniency even applies according to Rabbi Shimon on a weekday.